big thank you to Dan Sherman at Pacific Plumbing Supply for inviting PHCC of Washington, our Executive Director Todd Allred, and myself, Dennis the Apprentice, to podcast at their trade show. Celebrating their 75th year in business, Pacific Plumbing Supply put on and hosted their first plumbing and heating show, focusing mostly on new technology in the heating space. It was at the Angel of the Winds Casino in Arlington, and it was the perfect spot. Hundreds of people enjoyed the venue, the food, learning about what's new in our industry, and maybe one of the best parts was getting out of the office and out of the field and getting to know each other a little bit better. An open bar and a bowling alley was a nice touch as well. I wish you could have been there, but if you couldn't make it, maybe the next best thing would be getting to know our next guest. Jamal, welcome to the PHCC podcast booth at the Pacific Plumbing Show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're here in Washington.
Yes, sir.
And are we inspired by AHR?
Yeah. I mean, in my previous life, we did a trade show like this, and it was probably the precursor to this. It gave me the idea, and Vice President of Marketing for Pacific Plumbing, Dan Sherman, we were sitting down. I know he's been on the podcast already yet. So, we're sitting down, we're having lunch, just kind of brainstorming over what we wanted to do moving forward. And I said, why don't we do a trade show? Because, with everything changing, electrification of the United States and the changing of the equipment that is available, people don't know. And how many customers actually make it to Chicago and get that information. I know of two, I think, from the Washington area that actually made it to Chicago. So
right.
Bringing the information regionally was my, I guess, inspiration.
Right. Right.
And trying to, because an informed customer is a good customer. A trained customer is a good customer. And so, having the opportunity for every vendor to get their own training signups and see what the people want. It's been actually, we'll see when we get the data, but I think that's a cool aspect of it. And just, trying to be leaders in the industry and not followers. And
right.
None of our competitors are doing anything like this. So I thought it was really cool and then just seeing the support from the vendors and the reps and our customers getting almost 300 people RSVP'd, and the turnout, it seems like they're actually going to be showing up. So
it's amazing.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm super impressed with what you put on here. This is amazing for not having a routine of doing it, right? Just
right, for our first time.
It's your first time. Yeah. Big deal. Yeah, so I promote the trades. I'm late to the trade shows. Like, I was so busy building my business, and I get invited to trade shows, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. And then once I came, I got addicted right away because it's a different environment. You're away from work.
Yep.
No one's calling you. There's no pressure, and you can actually talk and ask deep questions about the products or whatever.
Definitely.
And like sometimes people, when vendors would drop by and want to talk to me, like I'm saying, yeah, but I'm stressed out about something going on in the field.
Yeah.
And it's not really a good time to learn.
No.
But when you come to a trade show, you got nothing going on. And it's a
You're
great
there to
time
immerse
to learn.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. And so even a podcast, like, who's got time for a podcast? But here we are.
Apparently I do.
You do. Absolutely. So yeah, I love it. And then, so promoting trade shows, not everybody can get to AHR.
No, they can't.
It's amazing how many people do, but for you guys to bring it home is super cool. And I've already seen some really young people here getting out and checking stuff out.
Yeah, I saw Aaron Wolf when you're that he's on it, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he worked for me for several years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you knew to get him right
yes.
on. Yeah, he's an all-star in the industry, and
I consider
like
him.
him.
Consider him a self-made man.
As a very young man,
yes.
It's very impressive. I've been in several meetings with him, and we did some trainings with him, and I've been impressed just with his questions and his knowledge, and that's very rare in this industry because young guys don't want to do this anymore. They want to be Instagram influencers or you
Right.
know, so, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that youth, and we need more of it.
Right. So Jamal, tell me about yourself. Did you come from the trenches, or what's your background?
I used to work for Ferguson
Okay.
in the Bay Area. I started in the warehouse.
In the warehouse.
I've
Okay.
pretty much done every job you can do: receiving, dispatch. I worked in our quotations department. I did commercial quote. I've been in hydronics since like 2009, 2010.
Okay.
I used to work with Chris Parks from Residio.
Oh yeah.
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 He used to sit right across from me, and I learned a lot just sitting there listening to him talk.
Right.
Because there's so much to learn. I mean,
Yeah.
every day I'm still learning. You know, actually, this job has been really humbling because there's so much you don't know, and there's so many ways to skin cats, and you know, listen to different customers, and oh yeah, well I do it this way. I never really thought about that way. You know, so even to this day, I still learn a lot because there's so much out there, and I tell people, man, I don't know because I know what I know, and I know I don't know a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people think of the trades as, you know, in the trenches and toilets and all that, right? Like the trades are so big, like they don't realize that you can get into engineering or sales or
so many different
supply.
things. Yeah, so many,
And it's
so many
not
different
gonna-
avenues.
It's not going to go away.
If you would have talked to the guy that was in the warehouse 25 years ago and said that this job is going to take you here, right?
Yeah.
I got to go pull this order. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been a cool journey. I'm excited to be at Pacific. I think it's a really good fit for me. The family atmosphere that they foster is what I like, and they actually listen. I mean, you know,
Imagine that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from, you know, a corporation where you're small fish in a big pond,
Right.
it's like you can talk to this wall and get about the same response as you will trying to get something done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from a conversation at lunch to this, it's pretty amazing.
It's
And
cool. You and Dan just had an idea at lunch, and a year later.
yeah, he
this big
went
trade
back
show.
and you know, he said, let me think about it. And then he came back and he asked me a couple more questions. And then he went to talk to Ron. Then he had some more questions. And then, yeah, I mean, it kind of happened, you know, organically, I guess. But yeah.
Awesome. Hey, are you an apprentice, or do you work with an apprentice that could use a boost? Hey, I developed a program just for you. It's called Trade Traction. It's like college prep in high school, except for the trades, right? Hey, the apprenticeship is really cool, but you only get it one time. You only get it once. Let's do this right. Let's get the most out of our apprenticeship. Let's become the best we can be through our apprenticeship. And maybe more importantly, let's make sure we build a reputation that will serve us in our trade for the rest of our lives. Hey, check out Trade Traction. It'll do you good. So, any advice for young people getting into the trades?
Get into the trades.
What's going on in the trades?
We have a deficit of talent, and we need energetic, smart, driven people. And I was talking with a guy way smarter than me, and you know, coming right out of college, a doctor is going to go straight while in college, and then through his residency and all that, just going straight down as far as like student loans and going into debt, right?
Yeah.
And you can be 18 right out of high school, start making money right off the bat, and it'll take 25, 30 years for that doctor to catch you. 25, 30 years, you can be retired, you know?
Yeah.
So, I highly recommend to young people all the time, get into the trades, find your niche, there's so many different, like you said, avenues that you can take. I mean, if you don't have to be out there digging trenches forever, or walling around in the turds. There's so many avenues, and I never knew. It's like hydronics. What's that? Yeah.
Hydronics is actually heating space with water.
Yeah. No, I know, but that's when I
Don't even know.
like when I first heard the word hydronics. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That's a plumbing thing.
Yeah.
That's not like hydroponics.
Yeah.
And
Hydroponics is cool too.
Yeah, definitely. But who would have known? Yeah. There's so much meat on that bone.
Yeah, totally. So the green room, you're part of the green room.
Yes.
You guys were, as far as I know, you were the first one in the whole area that built a training center.
I think it's one of very few in the United States that has an actual hydronic showroom. So,
yeah. I remember going in there just to get a part, and I'd wander into the green room and see what was going on. And then you guys would put on seminars about stuff.
We do trainings. We try to support our customers, whatever they need. Hydronics 101, Hydronics 201, near boiler piping, controls, sizing out equipment. And then, we'll do vendor or manufacturers training, like specific with customers. We'll go out, to their shop and train up their guys, because I know it's hard to get people in, butts and seats in the middle of heating season. So,
but we would do it.
Yeah, we have a training season pretty much from like April to August, September, and then heating season comes, and then we try to back off and let guys get to work, or let people get to work. It's not just guys. A lot of women in the industry too.
I encourage women to get in the trades for sure. Yeah. It's a slam dunk.
It's there's so many things you can do. So I encourage anyone that can still do it, right, to get into it. Right. Even I worked with a guy. He was in his 40s, and he worked on the counter, and the next thing you know, he's on the other side of the counter. And I still follow him. He's from the Bay Area, but I still follow him, and he's 15 years into it now. And I bless him, because I couldn't have done it in my 40s, but he's a testament to you're never too old. So
yeah, I have one of my favorite techs started later in life, but he took it very seriously, and he's very successful very quickly.
There's a lot of opportunity out there. You gotta be trained, and that's one of the things that Pacific really leans into is training. And it's one of the best things that a contractor can do for themselves is stay up on the latest and the greatest, and that's pretty much what we advertise this as to contractors and to the manufacturers and the vendors and our reps. It's like, hey man, make sure you guys are bringing your best stuff, because this is what we want to make sure the masses know.
Right. So the latest and greatest is right here in Washington.
Right here in Arlington.
Awesome. Well, Jamal, thanks for being on the show.
I appreciate it, Dennis.
I'll let you get back to it.
All right, have a good one, man.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you picked up a thing or two from the interview. Like and subscribe to see more of the interviews from the show. And be sure to let Pacific Plumbing Supply have a major role in your business success.